Kanye West is both the architect and the arsonist of his fame. That line kept echoing in my head the day I realized his career has always been a loop, not a line. It's strange, isn't it? Most artists move upward or downward, but Kanye seems to move in circles. Big, fiery, brilliant circles. He builds something, sets it on fire, walks away, comes back, rebuilds it bigger, and then burns it down again. And somehow, every time, we watch like it's brand new. You ever notice that with him? Chaos isn't a surprise. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a beat only he seems to hear. And if you followed his journey, music, fashion, politics, the public unravelings, the public rebuildings, you start to see the same cycle playing out again and again. Innovate, revolutionize, destroy, repeat. It's not just a career path, it's a tragic loop. The kind heroes in old Greek stories couldn't escape even if they tried. I don't say tragic lightly. Kanye is one of those rare figures who feels like he belongs in mythology, not the modern celebrity world. He has the brilliance of someone who sees the world sideways, upside down, inside out. That kind of vision changes culture. It also isolates you from it. There's a loneliness that comes from seeing something the rest of us don't see yet. And Kanye has lived in that gap between genius and misunderstanding his entire career. But here's the twist. Sometimes the world finally catches up to him, only for him to run ahead again and jump straight into the fire. When you look back at the early years, the beginning of the cycle feels almost innocent. Kanye was the kid who wasn't supposed to rap, who wasn't tough enough, who wasn't street enough, who dressed like he worked at the mall and sampled soul records like he was trying to reach back in time and hug the past. He broke every rule hip-hop had at the time. And the crazy part? It worked. It didn't just work. It reshaped the entire sound of a generation. That was the first loop, the innovation loop. The one where he started with a chip on his shoulder and turned it into the kind of art that makes your chest tighten. Then came the revolution loop. 808s and Heartbreak, my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. Jesus! You don't have to love all his albums to admit the man never played it safe. He jumped from one universe to another like he was allergic to comfort. And every time he leaped, the industry scrambled to follow. He reinvented what rap could be so many times that people stopped trying to predict him. But right when he hit his peak, right when the world seemed ready to crown him untouchable, he hit the destroy loop. Some of it was public pressure, some of it was emotional pain. Some of it was, by his own words, connected to mental health struggles, but whatever the reason, the pattern was the same. He would say something explosive, do something inflammatory, push the line so far past the limit that fans didn't know whether to defend him or walk away. That's the tragic genius loop, the place where brilliance meets self-sabotage. It reminds me of something Nietzsche once said about the mad genius, that the same fire that lets a person create can be the same fire that consumes them. Kanye embodies that more than any other artist today. He is someone whose creative brain never sleeps. But when that creativity turns inward, when it becomes chaos instead of art, you can almost feel the destruction building before it happens. There's a heaviness in those moments, like watching someone run toward a wall you know they're about to hit. Greek tragedy works the same way. The hero's flaw isn't a mistake. It's their destiny. And Kanye's flaw, if you want to call it that, is his inability to stop himself once he's in motion. He doesn't have a brake pedal. He only has acceleration. He only has forward. And sometimes forward goes straight into the fire. What makes Kanye complicated is that the destruction never feels accidental. It feels intentional, like part of his internal philosophy. You get the sense that he doesn't trust anything stable. Stability to him might feel like a trap, because the second he gets comfortable, he seems to self-destruct just enough to force a reset. And then he starts all over again. Fresh ground, new fire. It's almost easier to understand if you think about it like mythology. In ancient stories, heroes aren't just talented. They're cursed with the very qualities that make them extraordinary. Achilles had strength that made him untouchable, but it also made him reckless. Prometheus gave fire to humans and suffered for it. Kanye creates culture-shifting art, but the same mind that can do that also pushes him toward chaos. He is both builder and destroyer, architect and arsonist, caught in his own loop. The most painful part is that you can see the humanity in all of it. Behind the headlines, behind the controversies, behind the flames, there's a person who feels deeply, dreams wildly, and hurts loudly. And maybe that's why people never fully turn their backs on him, even when he goes too far, even when he crosses lines, even when the destruction burns everything good around him. There's a rawness that makes him feel real. Think about it. Most celebrities play it safe. They live inside carefully curated brands. They hide their flaws until those flaws come out against their will. But Kanye has always lived in the open. Sometimes too open. Sometimes dangerously open. He lets the world watch him break, rebuild, and break again. It makes you wonder, is the loop something he can escape? Or does he even want to? There's a moment in every Kanye era where you can feel him pulling himself back together when he starts building again. The ideas get big, the music shifts, the vision sharpens. It's like watching an architect lay the first stones of a new kingdom. And everyone gets excited because nobody builds kingdoms like Kanye West. The man doesn't think small. But right when the structure looks solid, right when people start saying he's back, you feel the heat rising again. The comments turn sharp, the public moments get tense, the controversies start simmering, and before long, he sets the match. I don't think it's because he wants to watch things burn. I think it's because he doesn't trust a kingdom that doesn't challenge him. Comfort makes him restless. Praise makes him suspicious. Stability makes him bored. Whatever the truth is, Kanye West remains one of the most fascinating figures in modern culture. Not because he's perfect, but because he's painfully, publicly imperfect. His genius and his destruction come from the same place. But before we close the book on this loop, at least this cycle of it, there's something worth thinking about. Something that goes beyond Kanye as a person and reaches into the way we treat genius in general. We love the idea of brilliance that comes with danger. And maybe that's why Kanye feels bigger than life in the first place. Because he isn't just a musician or a designer or a public figure. He's a symbol of the way we mythologize people who create things that change us. We expect them to be unbalanced, unpredictable, touched by madness. We expect them to sacrifice themselves for their art, as if the world is entitled to their suffering. But nobody, not even someone with Kanye's level of talent, can live at that temperature forever. Every fire leaves ash. Every loop leaves something behind that can't be rebuilt. And maybe the end of the tragic genius loop isn't destruction, it's exhaustion. Maybe one day he'll choose stillness instead of the storm. Maybe one day he'll build something he doesn't feel the need to burn. Or maybe the loop continues, and we continue watching, trying to understand a person whose mind refuses to settle. Either way, the story isn't finished, not even close, and that's what makes it impossible to look away. In the end, we're left wondering whether genius can ever exist without chaos, or if chaos is cost. If you found this story worth the deep dive, make sure to subscribe for more.